the second time might be the charm here with Lou Jasikoff. We'll see. Hi, Lou.
Hey, Sue. How you doing? Long time no speak.
Maybe there was a black helicopter over you the last time you called in. I'm not sure what's going on.
Well, believe it or not, there is a black helicopter over me right now. I'm in Tunkhannock.
I knew it. I knew there was a reason I could not hear you. But you're bigger than that. So what's going on?
I had gotten a call from one of the state representatives, actually Jamie Flick out of Williamsport, and they asked me to reach out to some of the other state representatives on HB 1397. It's a bill I've been working with him for almost 2 years now, and that's cameras in courtrooms. And it was up for a vote, and it was going to be very close. And it's tied into as an amendment to HB 2299, which is body cams for prison.
Yeah, okay, is it corrections officers or?
It was, thank you. Yes, it was the corrections officer.
Okay.
So, but that bill has since failed. So this in between calling you and the text that I just got that it failed on party lines. But 1397 is cameras in courtrooms. It's something that I've felt very strongly about over the years, going all the way back from Kids for Cash and what we've dubbed custody for cash. And we just need transparency in our courts. And we're one of only 4 states that don't allow cameras in courtrooms. It doesn't advocate for what I would call a Judge Judy courtroom or a YouTube sensational courtroom, but to be used as a black box. And so this year we've formed some coalitions, and we just plan on bringing it to the fore. And representatives that are not on board, we're going to work to make sure that their constituents know that they're not for transparency in our courts. That's where I stand on this and what's happening in real time right now in Harrisburg.
So this was today that this failed?
Literally in between my first call and the helicopter disconnected us and waiting to get on now, I just got a text from them and it failed along party lines. It was going to be very close. It was when he texted me originally, it was 102 to 101 they thought it was going to fail. But that's okay. That once again, we plan on working diligently throughout the state and making sure each one of these state representatives' constituents know they're either going to co-sponsor this bill, it's HB 1397, or we're going to actively work against them. It doesn't matter if they're Democrat, Republicans, Independents, or any other party for that matter. I just feel very strongly that we need transparency in our courts. I don't know who would be against this, but evidently there are people.
And you say we're only one of 4 states in the United States that does not allow it. So that goes to show, again, we're on an island here sometimes in this state. It seems, I mean, your numbers show that there is certainly a lot of support for this. And I guess the question that I would ask you, Lou, is that are there people who might be moved by this? And are there people here that you're aware of that voted against this?
Well, it went a lot along party lines. So the actual bill 1397, which you could find on our website, which is theindependentgazette.org, it's almost split equally for co-sponsors being both Democrats and Republicans. But on this particular case, I was right outside of Tina Pickett's office, and I said, do you want me to stop in and talk to Tina? And she's on board with it. She was all on board, but he mentioned, can I reach out to Mullins and Haddock, and which we put out to our group already, and they made their phone calls. And did it move anybody? I have no idea. Certainly, and you were very much involved with the Kids for Cash and even what we dubbed custody for cash over the years. And it took me a very long time to come on board. I was never involved with the courts. It took me a long time to believe a lot of the stories. But, you know, lawyers like to say we have precedent. There's always precedent and precedent. And we had precedent right here in our own backyard that kids were not protected by our courts. And ever since that time, we're going back 13 years now. We've been working on this. And it was literally 2 years ago. I was down in Nogales on the border doing some investigative work down there. And it was January 30th, 2024. And I got a call from Harrisburg, and it was a state representative who happened to be Jamie Flick. And he said, when you come back, let's get together. I mean, this is pretty important. And if you can't get on board, like I said, with transparency in our courts. I don't between Epstein files, I heard you mention. I mean, if we can't have transparency in this, I don't know. I don't know what else is more important.
Well, I have a question for you that you kind of brought up. This would exclude juvenile court proceedings, wouldn't it? Or no?
No. And that's why we specifically have said, hey, listen, there's a lot of local people that are involved, a lot of people we know together. And one of the first things that were brought up to me is, how do you protect the children? And that's obviously very, very important. And that's why I brought up this fact of being a black box, so that if you go to get a transcript, many people that are in the courts know it takes a very long time. A lot of times people have complained the transcripts are not correct, that, strike it from the record. You don't see the behavior that's happening in the courts from the judges themselves. So the whole idea of cameras in courtrooms is, once again, not to be a Judge Judy courtroom or like I say, a YouTube sensation courtroom. It's to be used as a black box, that if you or media or people in the courts want to see a real replication of what happened in those courtrooms, they could see it, where the video is matching up to the audio, and there's nothing stricken from the record. And that's what's, in my mind, the most important thing, that there's a real representation of what's happened in the courts. And besides that, Sue, you've been around this long enough that if you want to get a transcript from the courts, how much does it cost? You hear ridiculous numbers, 500, 600. Sometimes you have to wait 3 months to get the transcript. In this day and age, really, we still have people typing there. We still have, everybody is under surveillance these days, and the only place that's not under surveillance is where justice is supposed to be administered.
All right. I have time for one more question. What is the rationale for voting no on this? Is it the Judge Judy thing that you brought up, or what is it that makes them say no?
I have no idea.
Well, will you be asking them? I mean,
I'm very shy, Stu, so I will. And that's exactly what we asked. And why? What is the rationale? And unfortunately, a lot of it has to do with the judges. It has to do with trial lawyers. It has to do with money. That's the reality of things. That's the reality of it. And that's what we need to point out to folks. This is not a Democrat. This is not a Republican. This is not an independent issue. This is truly a moral issue. If we can't get together around this issue, that we should have transparency in our courts, I have no idea what we could get around.
All right, Lou, feel free to check back in with us on this. And, if I have time, I'll do some digging myself to see the why that these folks said no to this. But thanks for
HB 1397. So,
I got it all written down, Lou Jasikoff. Thanks for joining us today on WILK.
All right. Bye-bye.